Best, our Deputy County Manager, to give us our safety instructions for tonight.
Good evening. To provide for the safety of those attending this meeting, please listen to the following instructions in case of an emergency. First, please take a moment to note where your exits are. If an emergency arises that prompts us to evacuate, please exit this room in a quick and orderly manner through one of the two doors to your right, and then proceed to the nearest stairwell, directions to which are indicated by the exit signs. Once you exit the building, we ask that you safely cross Granville Street, which is the street that runs beside our building, to our parking lot to be safely away from the building. Our staff will provide additional direction and assistance as needed. In the case of a tornado warning, please exit this room into the hallway where we will remain until it's safe to exit. And in the event of an active shooter in the building, if there is an accessible escape path, please run and try to evacuate the premises. If you can't evacuate, please find a place to hide where you are less likely to be found and lock any doors that you can. And as a last resort, and only if your life is in imminent danger, please fight. Our staff will provide additional assistance on what to do. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Ms. Harris, would you please offer prayer, please?
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you again for another day of life, health, and strength. Lord, we thank you for those who are here, those who may be on the way. We ask you to continue to put it in our hearts to do what is best for all of Edgecombe County citizens. This we ask in your Son's name. Amen.
Amen.
You have in your agenda package the minutes of our previous meeting. If there are no additions, is there a motion?
Second.
Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, those minutes are approved. It's my understanding, Mr. Evans, that this public hearing request, the petitioner has withdrawn it.
Yes, sir. For the special use permit application number 25-SUP08, the applicant has withdrawn that his request as of earlier today.
And I'm understanding that there's somebody here that still wants to speak.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, if you want to have her to come now.
If they are here, would they please come forward?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Gail Pascal. My address is 1752 Glen Haven Circle, Ocoee, Florida. And I just want to say that the reason I'm speaking is this. I am thankful that someone found out that this was a designation of a scenic highway, because the house that my parents and I grew up in is near this property, adjacent to this property. And I was prepared to tell you about the concerns about opening the door for billboards, the chance of having the noise or everything that's associated with it, the visual effects, and what could be, to me, a detriment to the property surrounding it. And the only reason I'm speaking, and again, so thankful that this has happened, is that I drove out here like a bat out of you-know-where after I got the letter about this happening. So I didn't stop until I got here. And I'm used to covering these sort of events, never being a part of it. But I am so glad that it is in my home state of North Carolina, where I grew up in. And I'm so thankful and I'm hopeful that when it comes to those properties out there, that we will no longer have to worry about such things until something else comes up. But I was very worried about the negative impact it could have on the community, and certainly my home. And I even went around canvassing, trying to find if there were other people as concerned. So thank you for your time, for listening to me. I feel like a weight of a big burden has been taken off my shoulders. And again, thank you for your time. And I just want you to know that that piece of property is pride for me and my family. And in 2 years, when I get ready to retire from this crazy business that I work in, I want to come home. Okay. And I want to come home to something comfortable and nice. Thank you for your time.
We look forward to seeing you.
Just for your information, let's say this process, they've called and withdrawn it. If they put this in, we will notify the landowners again.
Yes, sir. If it's resubmitted, or
it will be a resubmission of application. Is that correct?
if it were.
Okay, just for information. Okay. Number 2, a public hearing is called to order for special use permit request, case number 25, special use permit 09 by Mr. Kelvin Wilson. That public hearing is called to order. Mr. Peters, would you please read the public notice?
Yes, sir. Public notice is hereby given that an evidentiary hearing will be held by the Board of Commissioners of Edgecombe County on Monday, March 3rd, 2025, at 6:00 p.m. in the Jonathan Felton Commissioners Room, second floor, County Administrative Building, 201 St. Andrews Street, Tarboro, North Carolina, to consider special use permit request, case number 25 SUP-09, submitted by Kevin Wilson for the operation of an outdoor event center and RV park. The property is located at 3767 Howard Avenue Extension / 3244 McNair Road, Tarboro, also identified as parcel number 471862471900. Copies of the application package for the outdoor event center and RV park are available for public inspection during business hours, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. in the County Planning Office, Room 205, County Administrative Building, 201 St. Andrews Street, Tarboro, North Carolina. Citizens who wish to address the board on this matter may do so at the meeting during the public hearing. Citizens may also submit their comments via email to publiccomments@edgecombeco.com or by mail to Tammy Faison, Clerk to the Board, P.O. Box 10, Tarboro, North Carolina 27886. All written comments received by 5:00 p.m. on February 28th will be read at the meeting. Published February 18th, 2025, and February 25th, 2025, by order of the Board of Commissioners of Edgecombe County, Tammy Faison, Clerk to the Board.
Mr. Evans?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. So I'd like to ask Mr. Dervin Spell, our planning director, to come forward. And anyone who is here to speak on this matter tonight, we need to have everyone be sworn in first. And then after that, we'll ask Mr. Spell to give you all an overview of the application.
Is there anybody here that would like to speak during this public comment? Is there anybody else here to speak? Please swear them.
And Mr. Chairman, before we do that, I do want to also mention, as you'll see that you have an even number of commissioners here tonight. So if by chance this lands on a tie vote, I think the recommendation would be that we notice a second public hearing to give folks the opportunity to come back and speak as well, to determine at that point there will be enough votes one way or another to approve or to not approve the application. Just wanted to sort of put that out there just in case it happens to fall that way.
Please make sure I do that.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Do you swear to tell that anything that you present before the board today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, Board.
Please state your name.
Okay. I'm Dervin Spell, Director of Planning Inspections with Edgecombe County.
Okay.
And some background information. Mr. Kevin Wilson submitted a request to operate an outdoor event center and recreational vehicle park at 3767 Howard Avenue Extension / 3244 McNair Road in Tarboro. In the summer of 2024, the applicant attempted to obtain an electrical permit for a recreational vehicle. Planning staff researched the parcel and did not find any development approvals on file for the existing and proposed uses on the property known as Oak Grove Retreat, which has been in operation since 2005. The other existing uses which are permitted by right in the AR30 zoning district include an indoor event venue located in the existing chapel, an art studio, a bed and breakfast, and a campground. Per UDO's Table 4.2.1, outdoor event venue and recreational vehicle parks are permitted in the AR30 zoning district with the approval of a special use permit. The outdoor event venue would need to meet the standards of UDO Section 4.3.32, event venue, indoors or outdoors. The recreational vehicle park would need to meet the standards of UDO Section 4.3.81, recreational vehicle park. As for comments from Technical Review Committee, Melanie Hudson with Environmental Health Division stated that a septic permit may be needed for the recreational vehicle park. Scott Kaiser with Soil Erosion stated that property is suitable based on soil type, or a septic upgrade may be needed. Regarding any decision, the Board of Commissioners shall review the application and decide on the following in accordance with Section 2.3.20 F review criteria. Approve of the special use and concept plan as proposed. 2, approve of a revised special use and concept plan. or 3, denial of the special use and concept plan. Assuming if the special use is approved, the development must undergo site plan review as well, obtain zoning and any other applicable development permits following approval of the special use.
Ms. Evans? You got it?
Kevin Wilson, 3767 Howard Avenue Extension. Have to start out by saying the property, St. Anne's Chapel is 105 years old. So it's been being used as a special use or an event center, church or otherwise, for a long time. And when we purchased the property in 1999, Jim Mara, my attorney, had told me that everything we were thinking of doing was approved under the zoning at that time, which I was told was an AR1. So for 25 years, we've been doing what we're doing, not realizing that we were not in a zoning regulation. So we want to set this record straight, get everything right with this. I think you have most of the information there in front of you. The key thing with the RV area, we're setting up maximum six sites. And most of those probably will not be used much. When we have weekend retreats and events, some people come to town with their own RV or would like to, and we're just trying to give them a place to set up and be there for the weekend. We also have had a lot of inquiries from traveling nurses, traveling teachers that have their own RV type place, and they would like, and they're working in Tarboro and would like to have closer accommodation rather than driving for a long distance. So that's what we're really setting this up for. We've done a lot of things with Airbnb. We had a tiny house and our cottage on the property, both listed through that for a time. The tiny house has gone on, but that's one of the sites that would be of that six. There will be no sewer to any of these locations. Water will be supplied to them so they can have it in their holding tank, but we're asking people if they either to use their own holding tank in their RV and clean it, empty it when they depart, or we utilize a humanure system on the property where everything is composted in all of our bathrooms. And then that composted waste after 3 years is then used on things like trees and other shrubbery, ornamental things around the property. So that's been our system for 20-some years. We've been using it for a lot of weddings where we had as many as 200 people. My wife and I empty a lot of buckets during that, but we keep it going, and it's all designed by it's Dr. Jenkins at ECU that developed this system for use in rural areas where septic systems were not available, both in this country and other countries. So we've been following that, and I think that system has been used by a fellow in Greenville even for other festival events where he's been able to get permits and has worked with, is it DEQ, I guess, would be through Raleigh. They're examining it to be used because it's basically chemical free. We're just mixing waste with sawdust and then and straw and allowing it to cure and break down, so it's a natural fertilizer. Is there any questions about anything else on the list? Those were the two areas that I wanted to address.
Any questions of Mr. Wilson?
Is this the one that's right there at the stoplight?
Yeah, in the woods, the chapel, St. Anne's Chapel is right there in the woods. I think a lot of people in Tarboro still call it the haunted chapel, but it's very good haunts.
Any other questions? Thank you, sir. Is there anybody else here that would like to speak at this special implement? Hearing none.
Mr. Chairman, if I could just remind the board the review criteria that you have in considering this application. You're considering that it will not materially endanger the public health or safety if located where proposed. Number two, that it complies with all required standards, conditions, and specifications of this ordinance. Number three, will not substantially injure the value of the abutting land or the special use is a public necessity. Number four, will be in harmony with the area in which it is located. Number five, is in general conformity with the county's adopted policy guidance. And number six, is subject to a concept plan that accurately depicts the proposed uses configuration.
Is there a motion to approve?
And as a reminder, Mr. Chairman, this will be one of those where you will need to vote on each of the 6 criteria.
And I don't see them,
The outcome of those.
I'm not seeing them listed. Please,
But I put it should be at your table, at your seat. It looks
Would it be appropriate if I say that we approve, that I would make a motion that we approve all 6 criteria?
that would be fine.
Okay. I make a motion that we approve all 6 criteria and pass the special use permit.
is there a question? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, pass unanimous. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we have public petitions. Is there anybody here that would like, please come forward, sir.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is James Wren, 704 NC 97 East in Leggett. I come before you as the Vice President of Phoenix Historical Society. And first of all, I thank the county for support of our recent George Henry White Days. Thank you, Commissioners Harris, Powell, and Deputy Manager Best for attending our event on the steps of the George Henry White Post Office on January 29th. Come to you today to announce that we will be, you can pass this out there. On April 12th, a big event, we'll be unveiling another North Carolina historical marker here in Edgecombe County. This marker recognizes the Citizen for Responsible Zoning. Very important effort in this county in 1996 that paved the way for a more environmental friendly development in this county that we have seen. As you remember, 2 years ago, we premiered a documentary we had done in conjunction with East Carolina University on the subject. So this is a North Carolina historical marker that's been approved. Will be unveiled at the intersection of Antioch and Kingsborough Road. And the event will be at the Ag Center on Kingsborough Road, 11 a.m. on April 12th. And we're doing this in partnership with Edgecombe County. I want to thank Chairman Wiggins and Manager Evans for their cooperation and support of this event. Should be a big event. And we also want to have to mention that unfortunately Mr. Attorney Marvin Horton passed away in December, who was a key player in this effort. But he was aware the marker was coming. In fact, one of the last things his daughter asked me was he wanted to know exactly when it was coming, but he wasn't able to make it. But we're going to carry on in his spirit. So we want to invite everybody to come out April 12th, and thank you for your support. Any questions?
For what you do.
Any questions, Mr. Rand? Thank you, Mr. Rand. Scheduled appointments, Mr. Evans? Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, audience. My name's John Walker, 1303 North Main Street. I serve as your chairman of the Edgecombe County Tourism Development Authority. I'd like to make you aware that this weekend, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, we have 2 teams coming in, Saginaw Valley State and Walsh University of Kenton, Ohio, to play in the first ever Tarboro River Bandits Classic. This is a start. These 2 colleges are coming in. They've gone to Arizona for the past 5 years, and they're coming here. We've got 80 people that will be in town, plus their families. So we'll probably have 100, 110 people in town. The coaches have already reached out. Plans are to turn this into a 4 to 6 team tournament next year. Would like to invite you out. Games are at 6 o'clock Thursday and Friday, and at 2 o'clock Saturday afternoon. And switching on you really quick.
Where would they be played?
What are they
Games?
playing?
Municipal State.
Ma'am,
What are they playing?
baseball, I'm sorry.
Baseball, okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay,
I thought everybody knew baseball.
okay.
In another direction, I'm president of the Tarboro Edgecombe Golden Seniors, and tomorrow at 11 a.m. we're having our 185th memorial flag raising honoring a fallen Edgecombe County veteran. we're honoring Private Marion Lee Ricks Sr. He is the third of three Ricks brothers who went off to war, served the country, survived, and came back. And when all three of these gentlemen passed, they were in their advanced 90s. That's at 11 o'clock at the Edgecombe County Veterans Memorial on the Town Common. Would like to invite you to that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Walker. Anybody else for public comment?
May I ask a
Please,
question?
please come forward, please come forward.
You may tell me no.
We won't know till we're here.
That's right. My name's Kathy Stallings. Y'all ought to know me by now. I realize that people are doing petitions, but I need to keep something at the forefront of the commissioners' attention. And if I may address the issue of solar farms, if that is permissible.
Whatever you like, that's fine.
And again, yes, this is another protest against solar farms. I spend a lot of my time doing this, and I spend a lot of my physical health dealing with this. So I have a question for this body. How many of you know why Rome fell? Why did the Roman Empire fall? I'm not asking you to give me an answer. But in a nutshell, they were immoral, liberal, and they didn't take care of business, and the Huns literally walked in and took over. It was bloodless. No war. I may have missed some of the finer details, but in essence, that is what brought the Roman Empire down. And you go, where is she going with this? So why would I even begin to address this commission with this? And this is what is going with the onslaught of the solar companies. Think about this. China is buying up land in the U.S., Midwest. Bill Gates is doing the same thing, and he's supposed to be an American patriot. The enemy is within. We sit back and we say, it's somebody else's problem. It's too much work. I don't know anything about it. We've all been guilty of that, myself included. I was once asked if I would go back to the classroom again, and I taught middle school and high school. The answer was an emphatic no. I don't even recognize what's being taught in the curriculum. I totally disagree with allowing children to do what they want, when they want, with no regard or respect to or for adults. What's worse is that the parents are allowing such behavior. And we are allowing such behavior in this country by not saying no. But that's not what I want to address tonight. These solar companies are coming after us with a vengeance. I firmly believe that they are trying to beat the clock as they are fearful the subsidies are going to expire on the green energy. They're in a panic. If we do not continue to fight the solar companies, our farmland will be gone, our way of life destroyed, jobs lost, and then where are we going to be? One needs to ask, what is better stewardship? Is it protecting our earth, which is God-given, or do we sell out to the sin of greed, which is one of the 7 deadly sins? Do we sell out our children's future down the drain? Do we deny them the things that we were taught through community and the beauty of nature? Do we fight not only for ourselves, but for our neighbors and our posterity? There are pros and cons for solar. I can list them, but y'all probably know them just as well, and I'm not going to take up the time. But I do have a list in case you want to see it. You can go on the internet and find all of this for yourselves. These solar companies can give you all the pros and the promises about how great it is for the community. You've heard it all. You've heard it here. What none of us knows, and I do mean none of us, is the effect it will have on our community and homes. Whether we own 2 acres, 26 acres, 2,600 acres, the impact will be on everything and everybody. Please remember this. These LLCs, the solar companies, have no, all caps, no assets, 0 assets. They have none. So if you want to sue them, forget it. They have no assets. If they go bankrupt, oh well. These companies shuffle and deal us like a deck of cards. I asked one of the men who came to the last informational meeting, and he's been here, if they would appeal on your last denial. That was Brightleaf and Solar Creek. And he said, oh yes. Remember that lawyer? He might be back with his experts. I further asked him, if you have no assets, where do you get your money? He responded that they go to other sources to procure said fundings, whether it's banks or something else. If something seems too good to be true, it probably is. It behooves all of us here, along with the commissioners, to do our homework and further delve into something such as this. So a final question or two. If you are sitting here and being told this will provide jobs, just how long will those jobs last? Not long. Maybe 2 years to install the panels. And how will the loss of farmland and jobs affect our long-term economic outlook? Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I'll be back next month.
Okay.
Is there anybody here to speak during public petitions? Hearing none, move on to scheduled appointments, Mr. Evans.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. We have with us tonight Mr. Dwayne Jones, who's the Scout Executive CEO, who's going to come and tell you about their program and introduce himself.
Thank you. As he said, my name is Dwayne Jones, Scout Executive of the East Carolina Council. I wanted to come today in front of you to make myself, to present myself as a resource and present our organization, Scouting America, as a potential resource to the initiative that I learned about just several months ago, the Getting Off the List initiative. We see some great opportunities there for us to, we work with over 3,000 youth in 20 counties in eastern North Carolina, Edgecombe being one of those. And we just see some opportunities there where we can help in the community and continue to help young people grow and strive. For those of you that are not familiar, the Scouting America organization just recently had a name change, and that name change was from the Boy Scouts of America. We serve, as I mentioned, 3,000 youth in over 140 operations, troops, packs, you hear them called a variety of different things based on the age groups. We serve Cub Scouts from kindergarten to 5th grade. We serve Scouts BSA from age 11 to 18 years or graduation. We have high adventure programs, venturing, Sea Scouts, where young people can learn about being adventurous but in a safe way. And we have a program called Exploring. That Exploring program is a workforce development, a job shadowing apparatus. And so those are the programs that we have available to us. And we feel like we can work with the school system here in Edgecombe County to help get young people excited and interested and inspired in those programs. Scouting teaches young people to be the best versions of themselves. We teach them that through the Scout Oath and Law, and I'll recite the Scout Oath just for those that are not familiar with it. But it goes, on my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, and to obey the Scout Law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. The Scout Law. A Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. Those are 12 points that over the last 22 years as a scouting professional have become close to my heart. And the reason is society would be much better if everyone took those 12 points to heart. So how can we help with the Getting Off the List initiative? Well, we can first try to identify some mesh points. Where can Scouting America be helpful? How can our program help the young people in our communities? I just want to kind of bring this to a summation by saying that there was a recent study called the Scouting Edge. It talks about how scouting, if a young person has been in scouting, they have an advantage in life because they see life differently. And one of the studies was, how do adults and young people see hard work? 6 out of every 10 youth and adults that have been in our program see that hard work and working to make a living is still a personal and an American value. And so I also want to just mention that Scouting focuses on character development. In order to be a participating citizen and a successful citizen, you have to have good, solid character. We help young people boost their confidence and be better teammates and better team players. And then lastly, I just want to hit on the Exploring program specifically and talk about why Exploring is such a value to a lot of businesses in our 20-county area. Because it focuses on career opportunities. It focuses on life skills, citizenship, character development, as I just mentioned, as well as leadership experience. So what Exploring does is it's sort of an apprenticeship. It puts young people with an organization like a hospital and or a law enforcement agency, and it helps them to understand what it's like to be a part of that particular profession before they spend a lot of time, energy, and money in going into something and then realizing they want to do something different. So we feel like there's opportunities that will present themselves to the communities of this county in the very near future that are focused around workforce development. And we want to see how we can be a part of that to help bridge the gap between young people and opportunities that will carry them forth in their professional careers as they look towards that. So wanted to make myself a resource, wanted the governing body here to know that we are available. We want to be a part of the success of this county. And though I don't physically live in this community, I serve this community proudly, and I'm here as much as I possibly can be. And we do employ a staff member that is assigned to this area to help it be successful. So I do want to submit for the record just some literary materials as a follow-up for the commissioners to review at a more appropriate time. Thank you so much.
Any questions? Any questions? Hold it. Any questions?
Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. I wanted to find out, have you established a partnership with Edgecombe County Public Schools?
Yes, we have a variety of a small section of the schools that we're able to get into each year, where we go and we talk to the young people about scouting, try to get them excited enough to bring their parents back to an information meeting. And so we have been in touch with the previous superintendent, have not yet been able to circle back and make contact with the current superintendent, but that is in the plans.
I also thought, especially when you talked about exploring, that it would be beneficial to have a partnership with the Tar River Region Boys and Girls Club, because part of theirs is working on workforce development as well.
Yes.
So give Ron Green a call. I think it would be a
Very familiar
great
with Ron, and definitely need to reach out and make that connection.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions? And continue to deal with Mr. Evans. You dealing with him in terms of how we can use him.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, thank you. Moving on to other business. Ms. Evans?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, you have some budget amendments there for your consideration. I'll just walk you through those few that require your approval. Budget amendment number 1, you'll see we're moving some funds from 2 lines in solid waste to the equipment repairs and maintenance line. Budget amendment number 2, these are to appropriate some state funds received in the health department. Budget amendment number 3, you'll see that they're moving some funds between lines in the finance department into the salaries temporary and part-time line. And budget amendment number 5 is to appropriate some additional donated funds in the sheriff's office. And I'll note the original budget for revenue for donations was $10,000, so this now moves the amended budget for revenue of donations to $11,250. And you'll see that the these additional donated funds are being appropriated in the expenditure line for the DARE program. So other budget amendments in there that are approved by myself or reviewed by Ms. Barfield, but happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Any questions on any of the budget amendments? If not, the motion is approved budget 1 through what?
1 through 5.
Is there a motion?
Second.
Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, they are approved. Next.
Item B is regarding our personnel policy. We currently provide longevity pay to permanent full-time employees who have served at least 5 continuous years with the county. According to our policy, employees must be on board by the county or employed by the county as of November 1st of each year to qualify for this benefit. Longevity pay is then calculated as a percentage of the employee's previous July's annual gross salary, and we pay that out in November. I'm recommending that the cutoff date for longevity pay eligibility be changed from November 1st to November 21st. The primary reason for this change is that the county's pay periods begin on the 21st of each month. We try to have new employees to start at the beginning of the pay period as much as possible. So under the current policy, employees who start on or after November 2nd must wait an entire additional year before qualifying for longevity pay, which affects most of our employees who start in November. So I recommend that you approve this adjustment to the longevity pay policy, moving that eligibility date from November 1st to the 21st.
Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions?
Not a question, but it would be nice if we were on longevity.
That'll be something for the board to discuss.
All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, it would be nice, wouldn't it? It is approved. Next, okay.
Item C
Hold
is
it, oh,
regarding a proposed amendment to our ordinance related to tipping fees in an effort to promote, responsible waste management and provide relief in specific situations while ensuring accountability. The attached ordinance proposes an amendment to the county's solid waste management ordinance. This amendment establishes criteria for waiving tipping fees at the county's construction and demolition and our municipal solid waste landfill under the following circumstances. First, for nonprofit organizations engaged in community beneficial projects in cases of disaster recovery following a declared state of emergency, for county-sponsored events that generate solid waste, or for illegal dumping site cleanups, provided that the responsible party remains liable for any cost incurred. This amendment ensures that waivers serve a public benefit while maintaining strict limitations to prevent abuse and enforce financial responsibility on those who violate disposal laws. I do want to point out in the draft ordinance language, you'll note that even if after you have the public hearing next month, and if you adopt this change, each case has to be requested and approved by you, okay? So if that were to come up, and I don't think it would come up that often, each case would still have to come back to this board for approval. But I do recommend that you call for a public hearing on this ordinance amendment to be held at your April 7th meeting.
motion?
So moved.
Second.
Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed, public hearing is called. Next.
Item D is regarding our compensation plan. Presented for your consideration is an amendment to our compensation plan that includes adding 2 positions, a truck driver 2 position at grade 4, and a social worker trainee position at grade 2. The addition of the truck driver 2 will better position us to recruit an experienced driver in solid waste. Adding the social worker trainee position gives us an entry-level social worker position who can be trained to meet the needs of our agency. This will also help us with recruitment in social services. The addition of the truck driver 2 position also necessitates changing the existing truck driver position at grade 3 to a truck driver 1 for consistency. I recommend that you approve the job descriptions provided and the updated compensation plan as presented.
Motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Questions?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
One comment. Thank you for addressing the need there. That's an appropriate need and what we needed to do for a long time. The second one is, and I'm going to vote to approve, but more just this trainee creating that position, does that not only just exacerbate the problem that we have where we bring in people that we're training for a position that are then going to go to another county that are going to be paid more money?
Well, what it does is, because currently, basically, it somewhat lowers the bars for the requirement to be a social worker in DSS. Currently, you have to have a social work degree to be able to be hired for that. And then, of course, you're trained. This puts it down in trainee position where you can have a bachelor's degree in anything and then be trained in social work and then work your way up into a social worker 1, 2, and so forth. So it allows us to then reach out more broadly to college graduates who may have some aptitude and interest in doing that type of work.
So it makes our problem worse that we're just training employees that are going to go to counties that are going to pay them more money.
Well,
I wouldn't say that. We have a lot of social workers who say they needed more time, and I believe coming in at that trainee position will give them that extra year of training that they actually need before they go into social work.
Maybe it will help with retention.
And it's a throw of the dice that we need to take in terms of approving this because of the fact that it will give, it does broaden our work pool, our applicant pool, in terms of give us an opportunity for people to come in and a lot of times, you know, a lot of these people will stay, I believe, but at least it broadened our pool. So I think that I support it fully. I might want some clarification in terms of we're talking about this allows us to pay interns.
Right. And that's what's going to be the game
I
changer,
think
this?
that I'm reading something somewhere. I might
Yeah,
have
it's
it.
on that
Okay.
second page.
Okay, I'm reading something somewhere in terms of where now our intern applicants had dropped. And that's because they can go other places. Okay. But this trainee position, as I'm understanding it, maybe I need some help, okay, would also give you the authority to pay interns.
Well, specifically, it says interns or candidates who've completed all of their coursework who can qualify as a trainee. So it wouldn't be someone, say, first-year college student. We're talking about a senior who's basically completed their courses and about to graduate. It allows us to bring them in under training.
We're just not
status.
calling, we won't be calling them interns.
That's right.
Okay.
They'll come in
Okay, okay.
full-time employee as
Okay.
a social worker training, yes. And I certainly understand that question, but, you know, unfortunately, we run that risk in any person that we hire in any training.
And it is the same risk.
Here's my concern with it. Instead of just raising the pay for the people that are doing the job, now we're going to hire someone at a lower position, and the people that are doing the job are not getting a pay increase, but now they're also going to have to be training someone on top of it. Does it solve our problem?
They got to pay
I think it helps us to broaden the pool that we can get to work in the agency, because the truth of the matter, the number of people that are going into a social work 4-year degree in any university is down. So it's not that many people that are going into social work. So
compensate the people that are doing it well instead of just creating lower level positions.
well, we're trying to do that too. So this is not the only thing that we're doing. We're trying to do that too.
I don't think we will, we can't compete with our surrounding counties by trying to raise our pay where their pay is. We have to create a work environment, because I think once we raise our pay, they raise their pay, okay? So, but I do they need to be paid more? They do. Do I support that? I do, when our budget can do that, okay? So I think everything you say has some merit, but I think we do have to take these kind of risks when they come up in terms of, developing another work pool.
Right. And at the end of the day, you have more qualified people who can do the job.
I believe our director has taken a look at it, and, you know, she's noticed that we used to get a lot of interns from ECU and Barton, and now they're not as regular as they used to be, so she's trying every avenue that she can to increase those numbers back.
And also, it's an approach that other counties are taking as well.
Right, that's true.
Because they're seeing the shortage of recruits coming into that field.
All over the state.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
I'm opposed.
Vote 5-1. Moving on.
Let's see, okay. So item E is regarding our health department fees. You'll see that there are a number of fee changes recommended for the health department, in particular for environmental health. You'll see in your packet the current and proposed fees that are attached, as well as the justification for that. We'll note that this did go before your Human Services Board at their last meeting, and they unanimously voted to recommend these changes.
Motion.
So moved.
Second. Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none is approved. Next.
Item F is regarding the School Capital Reserve Project Ordinance. You've seen this ordinance come before you before. This is revising the ordinance. Just as a reminder, a percentage of funds that come in from two of our sales tax, Article 40 and 42, a percentage has to go towards supporting school operations or capital. And so we designate those funds. Anything that is we subtract from our receipts on that what we have budgeted for current expense and annual capital appropriation, as well as any debt service, and then any balance over that we receive up to that percentage, we roll that into the school capital fund. We started that last year, so that is there in a reserve for our school system to use. We're amending the ordinance here that will do two things. It will amend the final amount received. It was not much difference, but the final amount received or reserved from FY '24, and then also adds to our anticipated receipt in the current fiscal year, and so it amends it as such. So I recommend that you approve as presented.
Motion. Second. Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, it is approved. Next.
Item G, you'll see we have received another special use permit application. This is case number 25-SUP 10. This is from Piney Grove Farm LLC, and it is for a special use for a sand mine that is on NC Highway 97 West, Battleboro. So you'll see the pertinent information in your agenda packet. I recommend that you call for the required public hearing to be held at your next meeting.
Motion.
So moved.
Second. Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Public hearing is called. Next.
Item H is another special use permit number 25-SUP 11. This is actually a special use permit from us. This is for one of our convenience sites on Harts Chapel Road. We are needing to replace the building there that our site attendants use. We need to replace that building, and in doing that, to get the permit for that, we need to do this special use permit to bring that use into compliance with our zoning ordinance. So recommend that you call for a public hearing at your next meeting for that as well.
Motion. Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, the public hearing is so called. Next.
Item I is regarding our Parks and Recreation mini grant recommendation. I'm going to call up our Parks and Rec Director, Mr. Kelvin Jones, and he's going to present this item to you.
Good evening, Board, everybody attending, people at home. The Recreational Mini Grant Program was created to offer grants to community-based organizations that provide recreational facilities and/or activities to improve the quality of life for our residents. We have budgeted $50,000 for this program, with the maximum award being $3,000 per project. The selection committee met to discuss and rank the 20 proposals that we received. All 20 proposals totaling over $60,000. Each proposal was rated based on the project description, timeline, area served, number of individuals served, duration of program, budget and feasibility, and the capacity of each organization. The committee recommends funding for the 20 projects and the amounts listed on the attachments that you have before you. I agree with the committee and recommend that you approve the grant awards for these 20 programs as presented, and authorize me to execute agreements with each organization that applied.
You budgeted 50,000, but you got 60,000.
Not here.
We got 60,000 in requests.
Okay.
So all 20 organizations combined requested over $60,000.
You're a little short. Oh,
Just a little bit.
Okay.
I see that one is over $100, about $100.
Doing mine.
Yes.
We have, let me request a motion from 1 through 19. Is that you on, no one? From 1 through 19. Is there a motion to approve 1 through 19?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Question. All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed, hearing none.
I will take this time to thank my.
Just a minute for me. I'm gonna ask that Ms. Harris is a board member of number 20. I'm gonna ask, is there a motion to excuse her from that vote?
So moved.
Second? Chair Chess, second? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed, Ms. Harris is excused. Now I'll take a motion.
So moved. Second.
Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, they are approved. Now, please go ahead.
I'd like this time to thank you to my review committee, Ms. Natalie Best, Deputy County Manager, Mike Matthews, Assistant County Manager, Dr. Evelyn Johnson, she's a part of my advisory board as well as ECPS board member, and Dervin Spell, Director of Planning and Inspections. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chairman Williams,
Please, go ahead.
I'd certainly like to invite my fellow commissioners to the award ceremony. It'll do your heart good.
If we know
When
when it happens,
Yeah, what is
we
it?
wouldn't come.
What?
It hasn't been scheduled yet.
Hold now.
Oh, okay.
I remember the last one.
Well, we in charge of the win.
Are we?
Okay, so all
It's
we
your money to give.
got to do is tell him to win if we
I
want
won't
to.
scold you, I was just inviting you.
Okay, but here's his order. Here's his order. Make sure that this board is aware, okay, of when it
Yes,
is
sir. We
scheduled,
always
okay? All right? Okay. All right. Okay, so all that's on us, okay? Moving on, go ahead.
Next, you have appointments. You'll see there, first for the Human Services Board, Ms. Lisa Coltrane, who's a family nurse practitioner, has expressed interest in serving on the Human Services Board. She's eligible to serve in the seat reserved for a nurse. Also, the following members are eligible for reappointment, and that being Ms. Tilda Marshall filling the social worker seat, and Dr. Glenda Knight filling an at-large seat. Human Services Board did vote to recommend these nominations for appointment and reappointment.
Is there a motion to approve these?
Second.
Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed, they are approved. After list and release?
You have one other, Mr. Chairman, the Agriculture Advisory Board.
Okay.
And you'll see a slate of recommended members. Some of these are new, some of these have
Right.
formerly served, and recommend their approval.
Motion?
So moved.
Questions?
Yeah. Have we invited them to serve in that solar committee that we're using?
I know we are looking for one member, the chair, I believe, is going to serve. The chair of the advisory board is going to serve on the committee, yes, sir. As well as Mr. Scott Kaiser is going to serve on it.
Any other questions? Did I get a motion?
Yes, sir.
All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, they are approved.
Mr. Chairman, for the after list and releases, you'll see you have those as normal as you do each month. Happy to answer any questions that you might have. Also separately, we'll ask for your approval of that, but also separately, you'll see it is time for you to convene the Board of Equalization and Review. And so I recommend that you call for convening that on the first meeting for your meeting on Monday, April the 7th. So that, so far there are no appointments scheduled, but we may have some by that time. Also, we'll have Ms. White here to swear you all in as the Board of Equalization and Review.
We'll do all that in one motion.
I would suggest first call for the convening of the Board of Equalization and Review.
So moved.
Second. Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed, we'll so call for.
And now to approve the after list and releases as presented.
Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed, they are approved. Contracts for review.
You see you have a change order there with TA Loving. This is for Water and Sewer District 6. This is funded by USDA grant and loan. There are sufficient funds in the project to cover that change order. See also there's another change order for Trash Hounds LLC for hauling services in solid waste. Also, there are sufficient funds budgeted to cover that. And third, there is a contract for Siemens Industry. This is for HVAC controls at our health department in Rocky Mount. This will be to add to the existing control system, and it will include the software in that building to make that connection. Though the amount is within the threshold of my approval, this is a sole source contract because we're going with the same system that does require your approval. I recommend your approval of all three.
Motion.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, they are approved. Department reports, Ms. Evans.
You have there for your review the water and sewer update provided by our director, Mr. Mosley. Have our monthly financial support. As you're aware, Ms. Barfield is not here tonight. I will point out that both our for revenues and expenditures are fairly consistent with where we normally are at this time of the year. We do see that our receipt of in the other taxes category is lower than normal, so that'll be something that we'll be checking into. Otherwise, the overall total revenue, total expenditures is consistent with where we are at this time. Also, I want to point out here, along with the monthly financial support, is that recently, Moody's rating, they do a review every year, and if ever they see that there are any significant changes in factors that warrant a more close review of a particular entity's rating, like the county, then they invite us to meet with them to answer some questions and have some discussion. We did that last week, myself, Ms. Barfield, as well as our financial advisors with Davenport and Company. We met with a representative from Moody's Rating. They took into consideration the information that we provided to them, and they upped our rating. So that's great news. And if I could, I won't read this whole notice. And this is, you have a copy in front of you of the press release that was provided by them. But you'll see that it says Moody's Ratings has upgraded Edgecombe County, North Carolina's issuer and general obligation unlimited tax ratings to a double A3. We were a single A1. And the county's outstanding limited obligation bonds, or LOBs, to A1 from A2. The county had $37.4 million in debt outstanding at the end of FY24. The upgrading of the ratings reflects the sustained improvements to the county's financial reserves and liquidity driven by prudent fiscal management. The upgrade also reflects the county's growing tax base that is driven by ongoing industrial development and which will continue to support the county's financial position and drive growth in resident wealth measures. So that's very exciting. It's great news. As you all noticed, something that we take a very close look at, and we talk about that some at your annual retreat. And so just happy about that progress and wanted to make sure that we made you aware of and made the audience here aware of that as well.
Thank you.
I think it's great, but I got one question. Did this include our most recent finance situation?
Well, it won't change the interest rate that we got, but certainly will put us in more favorable light for the next one, so.
Move on, go ahead.
Under manager's report, also you have the solid waste report provided by our director, Ms. Mosley. Under manager's report, you have major events and updates, monthly workforce development indicators, as well as the monthly TDA financial report. You also have your draft agenda for your retreat that we have scheduled for March the 17th. Take a look at that, and if you will, if you see that you want any changes or anything that you want to add to the agenda, you don't have to necessarily tell me tonight, but please let me know. We're working on preparing for that. Just as a reminder, we will start at 8:30, which is when we normally start. We'll invite you to come, and we'll have breakfast available if you want to come early. We'll have that ready for you at 8 o'clock. And we normally go, and you'll see there on the agenda, I believe we have it till about 4:30. But, as long as you all need, this is your annual retreat and this is your agenda. Just want to give you a starting point to consider. We will be having it at our facility there, Fountain Industrial Park, which is the Edgecombe Works Career Campus. We'll have it there in the large conference room. And again, that'll be on March 17th, and that's a Monday. Any questions?
Could I ask that we record that? I will not be able to attend.
Okay.
Is there a way that we could set up recording in that conference
I
room?
think so, yes, sir. If no other questions about that, Charters of Freedom update. If you haven't noticed, if you haven't driven down past the courthouse in a while, you'll see, if you're facing the courthouse next door to the right, they've started work on that. They poured the foundation there. They'll be bringing in the structures pretty soon. So it's exciting. We expect that to probably be done in the next 30 to 60 days. And certainly, once we get a clear idea of when that will be finished, we'll work with you all. I think it would be nice to have a ribbon cutting ceremony for it. So just wanted you to know that's progressing well. Also, I think it's been mentioned to you before, but part of what they do, Charters of Freedom, as you know, the actual displays themselves, they pay for all of that. They do try to raise money to keep that going. Their goal is to put one in every county. They sell brick pavers there, and so you can purchase those. They'll get more active with selling those pretty soon. But you can purchase one for yourself or in memory of someone else, but you'll hear more of that later. Also, regarding what was our property, or the county's property, in North Main Street, former DSS and Health Department campus, that has been sold. It closed on last Thursday. It's now owned by the Heichels, who you've met. They still have to go back before the town of Tarboro regarding approval of their special use permit, but now they are owners of that property, and talked to them recently, and they certainly want to develop it as they plan, which is certainly obviously contingent on that special use permit being approved. But if not, they said they will regroup, but they do plan to develop the property in some way. So I just want.
We have a check.
What's that?
We have a check.
We have a check. Yes, and I want to.
And they're gonna fix that White House.
What's that?
They're gonna fix that White House up.
That
Yeah.
depends on
And
the
make
town.
it pretty.
They'll make it.
That depends on the town.
Well, that's what they're waiting on.
But I want to thank Mr. Peters. As always, he does a great job, but he worked very closely with them and their attorney to get that across the finish line. So thank you, Mr. Peters. And that's all I have under manager's report, Mr. Chairman.
Anything from commissioners?
I attended the NACO Legislative Conference in Washington, D.C. I didn't really get any good news.
For you, Wendy's.
Yeah, while I was there, I did get to say my niece who worked for USAID got her walking papers that Friday when I arrived. So that was kind of sad. She said they had 6,000 people, they're down to 1,300. And she happened to be one of them, so that was kind of sad. But we did meet with, the North Carolina Association did meet with our federal folks who are up there fighting for us. I did want to tell you the federal priorities for North Carolina counties that were voted on was to support funding for behavioral health programs and services to address the opioid and substance use epidemic and support flexibility for counties to use funds for prevention and recovery, to support measures to reduce the number of people with mental illness in our county jails, and legislation that would allow individuals in custody to continue receiving Medicaid and other federal health benefits until they are convicted, sentenced, or incarcerated. Those were a few of the main ones. But also, continue to keep Medicaid in prayer. We know in North Carolina that's a bad word, but it is raising its ugly head in the General Assembly again. So, I did ask, our executive director will be meeting with our congressman tomorrow on the Hill. They have reduced the number of people who could actually go. They're going to be in a small setting. But I did make sure that I let him know to put our Natron project at the top of the list is one of the things that he discussed, because it would not only help Edgecombe County, but 5 or 6 surrounding counties. And so he said he would make sure that that was one of their topics of discussion.
Any other commissioners? Thank you, Ms. Harris.
Oh, I did forget one other thing. I want to invite all of you as well as the public. We'll be getting more information out. The North Carolina Association of County Commissioners do documentaries now, and we did one on veterans, I believe, last year. The one this year is called the Generation Theory. And so, because I sit on that board and I thought about, we have such a great community college, why don't we bring it to Edgecombe County? So I've asked Mr. Evans about it, and they came out and took a look at our facilities, and they said they've been to several community colleges, but Edgecombe was very nice compared to some they had been to. So they are coming March 27th from 5:30 to 7:30. We're going to hold it in the atrium. And what it is talking about work in public service across the generations. So many local governments are having problems getting young people interested in serving in local government. And one of the main reasons I wanted it to come to Edgecombe County is because our Tar River Region Boys and Girls Club are in this documentary. So I wanted it to be seen here in Edgecombe County. So
What was that date?
March 27th. It'll be in the atrium. 5:30 we will have light refreshments, and then we will follow with the screening. And after the screening, we will have a panel discussion that shall last about another 30 minutes. And so I hope all of you can come and bring your families. Don't let them come to Edgecombe County.
Flyers.
Yeah, that thing that I gave everybody. Yeah.
She gave us one.
Oh, that one. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Any other commissioners?
The only thing, I had several people reach out and ask why we were paying to construct the documents. What are we calling
Charters
this?
of Freedom.
Charters of Freedom. And so I appreciate you saying that all we did was give them a space
Right.
in front of the courthouse, and they are funding that project. So I was glad to just reiterate that for everyone to know that we are not publicly funding that beyond just giving them a space to construct that project.
They introduced that at our North Carolina Association of County Commissioners Conference 5 years ago when we were down in New Bern. And I brought the information back to Mr. Evans, and of course they followed through. It's taken a couple of years, but they're going county to county, so I'm proud that we're going to have it here in Edgecombe County. So.
Any other questions or comments from commissioners? Hearing none. Mr. Peters?
No, sir.
At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we're scheduled to go into closed session for economic development. Is there a motion to go into closed session?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Questions? All in favor, let it be known by the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed? We're now in closed.
just gonna go on.
Town of Canida.
Hold
will be celebrating- Okay.
it just a minute. Let's get it cut on.
You gotta wake him up so he can shut up.
Wait
You
long.
gotta wake him up.
Told you to shoot the start pistol when you can run.
He didn't get a very long neck tonight. Okay. Is he in?
He said we're good.
We on. Go ahead, Mr. Webb.
The town of Canida was incorporated March the 8th of, I believe, 1887. Anyway, it will be celebrating its 138th anniversary this year. So this coming Saturday from 9 o'clock to 1 o'clock, they've got a little ceremony and little special things going on, and everybody's certainly invited if you can get over there from 9 to 1.
Okay.
On Saturday.
Saturday.